Right, welcome back to another episode of Inside the Mind of a Young Entrepreneur. Um, Today it's the 4th of December, sorry, and finally decided to pick up this camera again and then talk to you guys because I feel like if it's forced, like me talking to you every day because it's a chore, it doesn't have the same effect. I would rather have this passion, like I feel like I want to pick up the camera and then just speak. But a thing that I really experienced today and really like made sense for me was this thing about visualizing your goal, visualizing, using your imagination as the tool of power. Like the thing of, I was, let me just take you guys back because today I had done, like, I've written out a thing that I call the one thing for each part of my business, and this is just a map of like everything, like what is the one thing I need to focus on outbound, and how do I do it, like what is it, why do we do this, and how, and then things to keep in mind. I've done the same for inbound, what it is, why, and how we do it on Instagram, and how we do it on YouTube, things to keep in mind, client work, why we do this, what it is, how to really get obsessed with it and become a master at it. And then again, business work, what we're going to focus on, why, and how we're going to do it. So this is really a key document that I'm going to go back to every day, and just remind myself whenever I'm stuck, go back to this because this is the outline. I finished this up and then I just found myself drifting. Like I didn't know what to do next, and I didn't push through to just like force, like have the speed to just push through to the next task. So I just ended up like drifting, and then I said to myself, "All right, I'm going to go out in my. We have a hot tub, uh, out in our backyard, and I'm just gonna sit there, no phone, nothing." And then I thought, might as well just, like, I've heard, I'm reading uh, like psychocybernetics, and I've uh, heard a bunch of stuff from Tony Robbins talking about this changing your state and visualizing. Tony Robbins, like he did an experiment. This is a really great video with Tony Robbins, an old video. I think it's 12 years old, but it's Tony Robbins interviewing John Reese and Frank Kern, where they talk about how to make people take action. And this thing of visualizing, he uses the framework potential, action, result, certainty. And most people, they don't have certainty. Like it's a loop, it's a self-fulfilling cycle. But most people is that if they don't have certainty, they ruin their potential and they will not take action. Or if they take action, it will not have the same outcome, the result that they wanted, and then it will decrease certainty, or it will increase the certainty that they are going to fail. So it's just this self-fulfilling cycle. But when you can visualize it the other way around, you are basically practicing in your head, and then you become more certain, and then it becomes an upward spiral. And he did this like visualization exercise with John Reese and Frank Kern, where they first said, I'm actually going to show it to you guys. It's really fascinating. So basically what this is was that he said, stand up, point out straight, and feel and point out in the air, and then turn all the way that you can to the back. Like see how far you can get your pointer finger around yourself. They could get it halfway like this, but then he said, now visualize it, that you can just stretch it even further. Visualize your hand going up without even taking it up. Visualize your hand going up, pointing it out, and then turning. And where you stop, you keep turning. So it's almost like you keep turning around yourself. Goes even further, and really visualize this. He went in really detailed with it. And after they did that, they really got this in their head. They lifted up the finger, they turned around, and they could get far, far more around. If like, I have 25% more in me right there. And it's just like, you could do that all along. It's just your mind that's limiting you. So it's so fascinating. And this again, like you see now, it works physically, but this also works in the way of you achieving things, whether it's relationships, money, it's your business, it's anything, your health, it could be anything. But this thing of visualizing, creating certainty, and then that gives you potential, you take action, you get the desired results, that creates even more certainty, and then this loop just goes around. It's so fascinating. And like, these both John Reese and Frank Kern, they were talking about like their success was inevitable. Like they knew that they would achieve all these things. They've already seen it, they've visualized it, and that's why they had certainty in the things to achieve it. And that's what I did, like sat out there and just visualized all these things, and visualized everything that I needed to do and how my life would look like and what the actions I needed to take. And before I was just drifting, but now I had like completely certainty and just clarity on what I needed to do. So like by the time I went up, I had almost already scripted out the next reel that I wanted to post, because I've really like keep pushing me making physical reels out. But this time, like, it just felt like a banger, because I visualized how everything was going to be, how like I'm confident and all these things. And it was just so fascinating. And the more you can do that, the more certain you get about these things. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. But you can do it the other way around, but you just have to stop that and really stop your tracks when you're doing it, because you can end up visualizing the wrong things. Like if you like lack certainty, that will again go into your potential. You will take actions that, what's it called, that proves that you're right about you didn't, like you were not enough and you couldn't achieve this. And this loop just goes around again, and you tear yourself down. But when you can, like, this goes back to this study about how they had a group of basketball players like just visualize themselves for free throws, where just hit like three pointers on, or like they just hit the hoops. You cannot shoot 3 pointers on a free throw. But the way that they just visualized that over and over and over and over again, it became inevitable for them not to succeed. Like, or inevitable for them to succeed, sorry. Like this result was so certain. They were certain about getting that result, so they just went out and did it because they'd done it so many times. And that's what I want to do every time I'm doing something that like I meet resistance. Every time I find myself like standing on my heels and thinking, oh my God, can I really do this? Then I visualize myself. Like sometimes even doing outreach and all these posting content and something and all these things, they feel so like you really have to push boundaries and barriers here. But when you look at the big picture and see yourself visualize all these things, it becomes the smallest things of everything. Like you won't even care. There's much bigger problems and all these other things, and that will just become a stepping stone for you achieving these things. So it's just so fascinating. Another thing that I've been really obsessed by is human behavior just human behavioral things in general. Like this guy Chase Huge, who is a former CIA behavioral expert, and all these crazy things, and that's some serious stuff that he's talking about, and it's just so wild, and it makes me so fascinated because I can use this in my VSLs and all these things. And also I've dotted all these things down in this document that I need to focus on. So every time I'm doing something, I have something for each day. I know exactly what I'm going to do. But here is also like this, the reason why I'm talking about this is because there's a section here that's called becoming a master at VSLs, and that is not only about VSLs. Like you need to figure out every, like, multiple other things about human behavior, influence, psychology, and all these other things in order to persuade people and influence them in your VSL as well. So the more I can take from other people and implement stuff into that single skill, it will just make, like, accelerate this so much faster. But he talks about all this behavior profiling and all these psychology things that's so fascinating. So I went out and bought his book. It's called the Ellipsis Manual, and on top of that I bought Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini, and then his other book, Persuasion. So I'm excited to learn more about these and use them in my copy, because there's so many nuances of this that just make sense. And whenever we can hack the brain in this way, it just helps. Like it's like having a superpower, but with great powers there comes great responsibilities. So when I can help people and serve people with these powers, I will just make my life so much easier, and I will make other people's lives so much easier. So I'm so excited for that as well. And again, this other thing, another thing that's been going on in my mind is really this thing about, like, this is also something that he talks about, Chase Huge. Like, the more digitalized and more like social media and everything on your phone, like the more depressed the world has become. So really this figuring out where you're getting your dopamine sources from, and try to, like, if it's a bad dopamine source, you need to get rid of it and connect a good dopamine source with the thing or the habit that you want to have, the good habit that helps you achieve your goals. So focusing more on cutting down on all these, like, social media and everything that's in between, because it doesn't serve me. Like, he talked about, if there's any product, platform, app, anything where they're not clear and advertising the thing that they are helping you with, then you don't need it, or then it's really dangerous. Because social media then, or like Meta or anything like that, they're not advertising the good, like, what they're doing to help people, but there's tons of other things to do. And now I'm just like rambling a bit, but this is something that I heard from this guy. But it's just so fascinating, everything that he talks about. Chase Huge. So yeah. So tomorrow we have outreach, and I will finish up this reel about how this VSL that I wrote for a client will dominate school. And it's so fun how vivid I saw this when I visualized me creating this video, when I was sitting in the tub. It was just so clear how everything panned out. And for me to just keep up with me taking notes and making sure that I get everything down, like, it's so fascinating how just visualizing can change your state. It's all about changing your state, and you change your state by changing your physiology, like a rapid change in the way that your body, that you move. That's why, like running, whenever you feel tired and you go out for a run, you'll just get an instant energy boost because you change your physiology so fast, so much faster. You get adrenaline and you get this rush in your body, and then changing your focus. And that was what I did when I visualized, because my focus before was on all these bad things and me just like drifting. But whenever I visualized, like my focus turned into something good thing I saw in the future, and I had all these like good things come to my mind, everything just changed, and it changed my state right there. So guess this video was a bit all over the place, but just wanted to like give you guys an update. So that being said, I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Peace. Bye.